Hello, everybody. Welcome to the SilverSilk and More channel. My name is Nilay Patel, and I'm the owner, designer, and educator here at SilverSilk and More. We are kicking off a very special week of tutorials. I decided to theme this week called Beadscapade. I thought it was cute. And this is sort of my year-end workshop where I just teach a series of classes back to back throughout the week. It's exhausting, it's so fun, and it's highly creative, and we definitely want everyone out there to get involved. This is a live show, which means that I'll be answering questions and posting comments here for people to read, to interact with. And so if you do have a question about the project or just life, leave it in the comments and we'll be sure to read through. Lastly, if you enjoy this content and video, be sure to share it with your friends and give this video a giant thumbs up over on YouTube. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I'm going to say hi to a few folks while I pan over the banner. So this is what we're going to be making. So let me just show you that. It's a beautiful, very colorful necklace. And as I'm sort of sitting on this graphic and people are tuning in, I'm going to quickly say hi to some folks. Marianne Doy is here. Hi, Marianne. Says hi. It's going to be a grand week. We've got another friend over from Facebook, Miss Sarah. Hi, Sarah. Robin over from YouTube. Good to see you, Robin. All my besties are tuning in. Miss Joan is actually in the background. Y'all give Joan some snaps and claps because she is doing an excellent job helping out this week. And she'll be posting links as well to any of the products that you guys see. Hi, Judy. So good to see you on here. We've got Miss Teresa and Greta joining in, our brand ambassadors over on the SilverSilk Silkies Facebook group. These are little ladies doing a big job behind the scenes. Hi, Jennifer Miller. Always lovely to see your face pop in. I just enjoy you so much. And one day we will be getting together, but more details on that later. Hi, Becky. So good to see your name pop in. So y'all just keep it coming, keep that vibe alive. Hi, Leanne and Cynthia over from YouTube. So good to see you, ladies. Leanne, I still have your order in pending mode. I plan to fill that today, by the way. Okay, so I'm going to swap back around to me and point my camera down to what I'm working with today. So I have got the kit called Peacock Parade necklace, and I think I named this just because it was super colorful and wanted to give a very spicy name to a spicy project. It's very, very colorful, but it's going to be so fun and easy to put together, and it just requires very few materials. So what I think I'm going to do is dump the bag out. I'm going to go over the tools first, like I normally do, and then we'll just move into the materials, followed by constructing the project. So let me set this aside, in fact, and let me just do the tools first. So you're going to need a pair of cutters. I have my handy dandy Lindstrom cutters that are used to cut everything, including sometimes memory wire. Not the best idea, but I've done it before. They still stay sharp. I'm very, very pleased at how high quality these pliers are. I've got a pair of crimpers. These are my trusty Xuron crimpers. They're very, very narrow and tapered there at the end. And they have 3 different notches that you can use for 3 different size crimp beads, as you can see, or tubes. And then a V-shaped notch there at the very end inside the pliers. So we'll be using that first. And then I've got, let's see, I probably just really need one more tool, which is my chain nose pliers. And maybe my round nose pliers. I'm going to keep those on the side because they just are useful for everything. All right. So those are those 4 tools that I'll be using and we'll have on the side here. Get them all spread out. And then for materials. So let's open up the bag. And let me know how many of you out there are making with me, because that's always a fun part, isn't it? Judy says spicy, so a chill rainbow. Absolutely. It's a spicy, chilly rainbow. I think I meant spicy because it's just got so much color in it, which is all the best. Okay, I have got 5 different colors of silver silk chain, and these just make my heart beat so fast. A couple of these are custom colors that you can't get over on the website, that they're just available in the kit, which are actually, I think it's most of these. You can get river and you can get seafoam over on the website in 3-foot spools, but you cannot get fuchsia, peridot, and amethyst. So these were fun colors to include as custom chains within this mix. But once they're all kind of woven together, it's so, so pretty. And really, you can make any combination of colors and make this necklace as many seasons as you want to. I just wanted to put together a rainbow. That was the mood I was in. So we're going to be doing that. I'm going to be working in 1-foot lengths. So you'll need 5 different colors in 1-foot lengths. You'll need a couple of these slider caps. I call them caps. I'm not really sure. I guess they're just sliders. But they have a little loop at the top, and then basically the idea here is to slide in each chain one at a time. So that's what's going to kind of hold everything together. And it is a substitute and different from my normal end caps, but with my normal end caps, you can't really get more than 3 chains at a time in there. And this is way beyond that. We're going to put in 5. So you'll need a couple of those. I have got some beautiful milky glass faceted beads. These are, I don't know, they kind of imitate moonstone in a way, but they don't have that rainbow flash to them. It's more of just sort of a milky glass color. They're beautiful though. They're sparkly without overpowering the rainbow itself. And so adding that sort of white, almost opalesque color kind of gives a nice balance to the overall color palette. Okay, let me pan down to make sure I'm getting any questions and comments. Jennifer says, I can never make a lock. Is it that day job that you're in? I love watching and chatting. I know what you mean. Sometimes I have to kind of see the entire tutorial and then figure out construction. Okay, I'm going to set those aside. And now I've got my other materials, which is I've got some soft flex beading wire. This is in medium size, and you'll need about, give or take, 18 inches or so. Not very much to start. You can either string directly onto the spool itself, or you can cut them ahead of time into 9-inch lengths. And so I'm probably just going to estimate what that looks, or actually, no, but I have my ruler handy. I'm going to estimate that I'll need this much. And it really just depends on how long you want your necklace to be. The centerpiece, which is all of those colorful chains of silver silk, is going to be about 12 inches as it's draped. Having said that, you can add the rest of the length of the necklace to that 12 inches. So if you're looking for a 20-inch necklace, that would be shorter than 20 inches. I'm not good at math, so you guys get the idea though. Okay, I've got a clasp for the first time. And this is from my SilverSilk collection. It is custom plated. It's a brass core that's been plated in a high quality metal and in the silver color. And it's so, so great. I love these clasps. They don't tarnish. And they just are a very robust, good lobster claw to have. So I have those out. And then I've got a couple crimps that I'm going to take out here. Oh, Melanie says, my birthday is next week. I may have to bug my family. I'll be 49. Yikes. You're as old as you feel, Melanie. And also, happy birthday. All right. We're going to need 4 crimps because we're crimping on each side of the beaded strand that we're going to make. And lastly, this is an important tool that you'll need to know, which is our piece of wire that we're going to use to align our chains together. This can be in any gauge. I think I'm using a 22 gauge, but you can use a 20 gauge probably comfortably. I feel like 22 is just an easier one to pass through the chains and keep everything aligned accordingly. But you just need a scrap. You don't need very much wire at all. And this is really, again, just a handy tool to have to align the chains with. And then after that, it doesn't even matter what you do with that piece of wire. All right. I'm going to start stacking my colors together in a way that looks pleasing. So, which really just means that I'm trying to make a rainbow from the best of my memory over here. And so I'm trying to think, and I might have to refer back to that photo that I had earlier to see which one it was. Um, I'm going to do fuchsia on the outside, followed by amethyst, then this dark blue, light blue, and green. So that's going to give me my rainbow color. I'll hold it up for you guys so you guys can see this is the order that we'll need to do it in. And you can mix it up. Doesn't have to be this order. I just like the gradient effect that this is giving me. Okay, I'm going to take my piece of wire and I'm going to create a little loop here at the end. It doesn't matter the size and it doesn't matter if it looks good. It just needs to be a loop so that it sort of creates a stopper at the end. And I'm going to grab my chains in the order that I placed them in. And I'm going to string this about 3 beads below of the ball chain. So just straight through it. Okay, we'll do that to all of them. And we want to make sure that they're fairly similarly aligned. Doesn't have to be perfect, but it just has to be enough to kind of keep them the same length, as you can see there that I'm doing. Okay, same thing on this side. And here. Okay, back to my comments. There we go. And I'm just going to push this all the way through. This is going to get me started with creating the curve of my centerpiece here. The thing is, you can kind of clip this off whatever length you want it to be in. The thing is, if you're wanting to use all of it, your end goal here is to match everything up to that fuchsia color. Let me kind of scooch this over and move these pieces down so that you guys can see the full effect here. Okay. So once I sort of align all of these to make the drape that I want to, I can clip this wire, create another loop. Okay, as you can see, I really did that quite fast. But I'm going to use up all of my chain. I don't want any scraps or leftovers with this project. So now I'm just going to carefully measure, drape, and align all of these chains together in the best way that I can. Okay, and it's important to work on your table and work surface to make this come together. Okay. Looks like I'll need to what I'm doing is just sort of eyeballing. Like there's no math or anything real heavy here included. It's just a matter of eyeballing and getting the chain to come together with the other chains. Okay, and if there's a little bit of a gap, do not worry. That is perfectly fine and it's normal. Okay, right there. Ooh, sometimes it won't go through the knit, and you kind of have to just lift it up, push it through. This is at the point where we can continue to adjust and manipulate to our heart's content. And really, the thing that I'm just looking for is just to make sure that the drape is going to work again. Okay, there we go. See, and now I can kind of move it around as much as I need to, but it's not going to lose its form or, the way that it's sitting. And then again, just kind of shake it off, put it back down, see if everything is aligned correctly, which it's holding its shape pretty well. Once I especially crimp all that stuff together, it's going to be excellent. So I'm going to start with one side and then I'll clip because it's important to measure twice, cut once for these sorts of projects. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my slider crimp. I'm actually going to grab my Xuron pliers, and I'm going to actually separate. I'm going to actually push this down a little more, that little end cap part there. I'm going to separate this just a bit more so that I've got a greater gap within the sliding part of my crimp there. You can kind of see, there it is. See how I just extended the size of that a little bit bigger? Okay, I'm going to start to slide these one at a time in. The thing with these is you want to pinch the wires at the very end of the last bead. And then it should be able to just slide these through one at a time. And if not, you might have to open up that little gap even wider for it to slip through, which I think I might have to because that's not enough. Okay, let's give that a try. Okay, there's one. There's two. This requires great concentration. There's three, four. Oops, a little bit of my wire came out. I'm just going to go back in and pinch that shut. And five. All right. Once that last one is in, you can kind of just scooch all this stuff down as far as it'll go. And then what I'm going to do is actually remove my wire. You can see how easily now it all fits together. And I'm going to go ahead and pinch this back closed just a little bit. And then that'll kind of secure all of my strands of silver silk. And now I can go ahead and push this little end piece right over. And I just use a table surface to push it shut like that. And at this point, I'm going to put it back on my table, move my wire piece out of the way, and take a look at this one more time and make any last minute adjustments. I've got a little bit of gap on that green, so I'm just going to see if I move it a bead higher or lower, I guess, of the ball chain, does that align a little better? And it looks like it does. So you can kind of make all those little tweaks here at this point, at this stage of the game. And then once you've done that, you can go ahead and clip three of the beads of the ball chain. So just keeping where the same height of the fuchsia colored silver silk chain is. Go ahead and clip the others the same size. Okay, they should all be 3 beads of the ball chain. And now we've got a very exact and perfect rainbow here happening. And we haven't really wasted any silver silk. You can see these are the scraps that I have left over, which is probably not a whole lot of scraps. And we can take our other slider, go ahead and open that up as well on one end, and then we're ready to slide it through. So remember, we are going to pinch the last bit of that knitted wire over the ball of the of the or, excuse me, over the bead of the ball chain. If there's any little remnants of wire fuzzies, as I call them, go ahead and shake them out, which are really just little remnants of the knitted wire left over. It kind of makes a pretty rainbow on my table, actually. And what I can do is go ahead and grab the slider and start pushing all of my knitted wire chains through. Okay, one at a time. There we go. And one more. Okay, I can go ahead and remove my wire out of the way there. These are all lined up and mostly fitting in perfectly. That last one I need to get in there a little bit better. There we go. And now I can go ahead and close up that slider crimp just a little bit, ensuring a pretty strong hold. And then I can fold this over just a bit and then use the table surface to shut it nice and closed. And if it's still a little bit there, not quite shut, there we go. So now I've got both of my slider crimps on my silver silk. Get that out of the way. Let me show you guys. Look at that, very easily placed in. Okay, I'm gonna shake this out. And now I'm ready to do the beaded part of my necklace and get that rope all assembled. So again, I gave you guys some beads, and you can use them however you want to. If you do not want to use beading wire, you can absolutely um, do some wire wrap beads, and a wire wrap chain would look equally as beautiful. There's so many beads here to work with. So, but I'm going to keep it simple and just use some bead stringing. So I'm going to string on a crimp and feed my soft flex through the little loop that's on my bead slider and go back through the crimp as I do here. Get it close to my slider, and I'm just going to do a regular folded crimp. Okay, so you just use the end part of my crimpers, get that nice little moon shape, and then pinch the moon shut completely to get that lovely folded crimp. And now I can just string. I'm going to go ahead and just do both my sides at the same time. The thing is, I know myself, and I'm going to have those crimps all over the place if I don't get them used up from the beginning. Perfect. There we go. Okay, get that nice crimp going. And now I'm ready to do some string in here. So again, in the interest of keeping things simple, I think I'll just do a 1-for-1 and string them all like it is. But I will be curious to see if you guys swap out this pattern and do something a little different. And you can always post your designs over on SilverSilk Silky's Facebook group. If you've been waiting, now is your time to shine, since it is Beadscapade week at SilverSilk, and join in the fun. Okay. I'm going to use this first strand to get a measurement. Now, one thing I want you guys to keep in mind, whenever you're selecting your beading wire within the Softflex company range, they have different colors. Well, for these sorts of beads, the color is going to pick up whatever, I'm sorry, for these type of beads, whatever is under the bead, it's going to pick up and highlight and illuminate that color. So I'm going to hide this for a second. And so if I'm using this gray colored wire, you're going to see a gray strand of beads underneath. Sorry, what am I trying to say? You're going to see a gray line underneath the beads. Trying to get my thought process here. And so if you're using silver colored beading wire, then you'll see probably a lot brighter of a bead that's going to be strung on this. And so just something to keep in mind. I'm using gray, so it does tone my beads down a little bit, but I kind of wish I had swapped out to the silver color now that I'm looking at it. I think it would have made the beads even brighter and more glowy than the gray. Okay, now I can answer that comment. Let's see. Can you use the new 3-strand? You can use the sorry. If you're meaning the crimps, absolutely. You can definitely use the 3-strand silver crimps. I think that's what you're asking. And Stephanie says, yes, can we use the soft flex colored wire? Absolutely. With the expectation that if you're using the clear beads, it's going to show through, and that might be an actual fun thing to play with. All right. Stringing along. As I'm reading the comments here, Sarah says, I think I have a spool of white soft flex. Absolutely. That would be perfect with this sort of bead, I think. And then Judy was referring to the new 3-needle chain that I've made, not the 3-strand end cap. And the answer is no, you cannot. The reason is that the drape is going to be significantly different than this type of chain. The 3-needle does not offer any sort of weight to keep it draped. That is more dependent on that type of chain is better suited for a pendant hanging from it. That's what's going to give it its drape. It won't hang free. Hopefully that answers your question. Okay, I'm gonna do this without a bead stopper, so we'll see if I'm successful at this. And also, I think I'm going to, I was gonna see if I can unbrighten some of this stuff, and it might just be, that's okay. Never mind. All right, let's get us some strung beads here. Hi, Colleen. So good to see you on here. Okay. Gosh, I love big beads because they're just so easy to string. Takes no time at all. Okay. I'm gonna just cut that smaller so I can get a better hold on those beads. All right. So I'm going to put these up next to each other and get a feel for how many beads I actually need to string to get my necklace even. I don't really know the size I'm going for with this. I know I want a shorter necklace for sure. So maybe about that big. Probably sufficient enough. That would give me pretty good size necklace, probably about 18 to 20 inches, give or take. And I could use these beads for other projects. So I'm going to save those out to the side for now. And we will go ahead and crimp this up. Okay, I'm going to grab my clasp, which is not something I always say. If y'all know me, you know I forget clasps. And I'm going to go ahead and grab my 2 crimp tubes. I lost one under my table. Of course I did. I'm going to grab another one. And We will string on a crimp tube, our jump ring, and go back through the crimp tube. And then whenever I do this, I'm going to go through a few of my beads, but I want to be very careful on how much I tighten this because I want it to still have lots of flexibility, but I don't want it to have any gaps. And so if I lay it down and I'm not seeing any gaps, that's perfect. I can also kind of curve this around and it still works. So this is perfect. I'm going to crimp this in place. Okay. I'm reading comments. That's why I look angry at the screen. Not that there's bad comments. I just that's how I read is really get into it. Ah, Leanne says I like to wait and cut so it's like a natural bead stopper. That's a great tip. Right. I love how you guys are all just chatting with each other. It's brilliant. Okay. Get this on. And my final jump ring here. Go through a couple of my beads, and then I'm going to just string this through. I'm going to actually unhook this. There we go. Just so I can see the flexibility of how I'm putting all this together. Okay, it's pretty good. I can go ahead and crimp my tube here. And trim off my wire. There we go. And my design is all finished, and I've got one heck of a Peacock Parade there. And this is, again, to Judy's comment earlier or question, this is a type of design that's really only going to work best for burlesque or capture chain. The reason is that the beaded ball chain core of this type of knitted wire chain offers the ability for this chain to drape without any beads on it. It'll drape nice and heavy and perfectly aligned, as you could see here. And it won't really work with any of the other chains that I've got in the SilverSilk website. So that's why I thought this project was special, and it teaches you something new that you could do with your slider crimps if you've got any. And also the design lesson that maybe is taken away from this is also you've got a lot of color here to work with, and sometimes you don't have to add extra stuff to it to get a special design. You can keep it simple, you can keep it very focused and intentional and have something absolutely stunning and gorgeous on the go. Let's see. I'm going to read through some of the comments, and that'll kind of be our kickoff for Beadscapade this week. Sarah says, looks super fancy, and yet it's easy to make with your SilverSilk chains. Absolutely, Sarah. That was the intention for today's class. So that was a great comment. I'm glad that resonated well. Robin says, thank you, Nile. Such a great design. I think you grabbed the entire kit too for the Beadscapade, didn't you, Robin? So I'm curious to see your take on this design. Becky says, I'm having ideas, TM, about how to use the kind of connectors with SilverSilk and other things, and like having a loomed bracelet sandwich between my two capture chains. Ooh, I could see the possibilities for that. In fact, we will have a class later in the week that involves a loom. Sort of. More details to come later. All right. Stephanie says stunning. Judy says thank you. And then Debbie says it's so nice. Thanks for the tips. Absolutely. I am glad you guys enjoyed this first class together. And we've got a fantastic class coming up in the evening time slot. Oh, I've got another quick question. Hello, Nile. And all. What about the end caps I use with the 3-needle chain when making a bracelet? Those end caps, that's a good question. I have been pointing people to the single strand end caps because you can bunch up those 3 needle chains together and push it into the single strand end cap. I will say also that I've got a very big project in the works for 2024 that involve specially made end caps for the 3 needle. Pretty excited about this. I think it's going to work out very well. Oh, the other ones that work well for the time being are the flat mesh end caps, the ones where you just press together that have the teeth on the outside. Those are in the SilverSilk shop as well. Again, flat mesh crimps. Maybe Joan can post a link to them on my behalf, and those work great for 3 needle as well. But there will be special end caps for 3 needle coming down the road. That's a good question. Okay, so I hope you guys have a fantastic creative rest of the day. I am going to tune off and get ready here in a few hours for our next class. We've got the amazing Christy Friesen up next in our Beatscapade classes, and she is a creative and polymer clay force to be reckoned with. She's got an amazing project that we'll be using epoxy clay for and lots of sparkles. And we'll just keep the fun going. If you all finish your projects, don't forget to post them over on the SilverSilk Silkies Facebook group. Don't forget to give this video a giant thumbs up and to subscribe to the channel if you enjoy these sorts of videos, and to make sure to share it with your friends. And I will see you again for the next class. I love all of you. Mwah. Catch you in a bit. Bye.